Now we are going to analyze the refraction by a lens. So already we have learnt about refraction through spherical surface, and we have obtained a relation as n2 by v minus n1 by u is equal to n2 minus n1 by r, where n2 is the refractive index of the medium in which the image is obtained, and n1 is the refractive index of the medium where the object is placed, and we know that v is the image distance and u is the object distance, and r is the radius of curvature of this spherical surface. So this is the relation that is obtained when we analyze the refraction through a spherical surface. Now we know that lenses are of two types, convex lens and concave lens, and also we know that a lens is a combination of two spherical surfaces. The two spherical surfaces that are bulging outside are combined to form a convex lens, and two spherical surfaces that are curved inward are combined to form a concave lens. On analyzing the refraction through a lens, we obtain a very important result which is known as the lens maker's formula. So as we told, a lens is a combination of two spherical surfaces. Let us consider a thin lens which is made up of glass. So n1 here is the refractive index of air, and n2 is the refractive index of glass of which the lens is made. So when we observe the image formation through a lens, we can see that the image of the object is obtained on the other side of the lens. As we told, a lens is combined with two spherical surfaces, so we can extend the two spherical surfaces and we can see there are two spheres, and the center of curvature of both the spheres are marked as C1 and C2, and the center of these center of curvatures is the optical center of our lens. So as we told, there are two spherical surfaces and two center of curvatures, and the light that incident on the lens undergoes refraction twice through both the spherical surfaces of the lens. So let us first consider the refraction through the first spherical surface of our lens. As you can see, it is marked with blue and the second surface is marked with black. Now let us consider the first surface, and we are having an object placed at a distance u1, and the light ray from the object undergoes refraction through the first spherical surface of the lens, and we obtain an image I1 at a distance v1. We know that the relation in general is n2 by v minus n1 by u is equal to n2 minus n1 by r. Here the image is obtained at a distance v1, therefore image distance here is v1, and the refractive index of the medium in which the image is obtained is n2. Therefore our relation will be n2 by v1 minus n1 by u1. u1 is the object distance, is equal to n2 minus n1 by r1, where r1 is the radius of curvature of the first spherical surface. Now the important thing that we have to understand here is that the image obtained from the first spherical surface of our lens I1 now act as a virtual object for the second spherical surface of our lens. So now when we consider the second spherical surface of the lens and analyze the refraction, the object here is the first image obtained I1, and we obtain a final image as I. And as we know that the final image is obtained in air itself, that is, the medium in which the final image is obtained is n1. So this is the only thing that we have to understand in the concept of refraction through a lens, that the image formed by the first spherical surface act as a virtual object for the second spherical surface of our lens. Therefore when we consider the refraction through the second spherical surface, here the object distance is v1 and image distance is simply v, and on applying the relation we can write n1 by v minus n2 by v1 is equal to n1 minus n2 by r2. We know that the final image is obtained in air which is having the refractive index n1, and we mentioned that the first image is the object here, and the first image was obtained in the medium with refractive index n2. Therefore, now the relation becomes n1 by v minus n2 by v1 is equal to n1 minus n2 by r2. So, we have obtained two results for the refractions through the two spherical surfaces of the lens. On adding these two, we obtain the relation n1 by v minus n1 by u is equal to n2 minus n1 by r1 plus n1 minus n2 by r2. So, the term n2 by v gets cancelled, and thus we obtain this relation. Now, on rearranging, we can write n1 into 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to n2 minus n1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. And now, on dividing throughout by n1, we obtain 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to n21 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. So, the relation here now obtained is 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to n21 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. And for a convex lens, we know that when the object is at infinity, we obtain an image at the focus. So, if we consider the object distance as infinity, that is u is equal to infinity, v will be the focal length, that is the image obtained at the focus. For this case, our expression will become 1 by f is equal to n21 minus 1 into 1 by r1 minus 1 by r2. And this equation is known as the lens maker's formula, and it is true for both convex lens and concave lens. This is known as lens maker's formula because this is helpful for designing lens of suitable focal length. Now, on comparing the lens maker's formula with the general formula, that is equation 3, we can see that the right hand side of both the equations are same. Therefore, the left hand side will also be same, that is, for thin lens we can write the relation as 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u, and this is known as thin lens formula. Thus, we obtain another important relation which is known as the lens formula. If you remember, we have already learnt in lower classes a similar relation called the mirror formula, which is 1 by f is equal to 1 by v plus 1 by u, and this is the lens formula, which is 1 by f is equal to 1 by v minus 1 by u. We all know that a ray incidenting on the lens in a particular fashion always refracts and passes in a particular manner. So, here we are going to discuss some of the rays that passes through the lens. A light ray from the object parallel to the principal axis after refraction always passes through the principal focus, that is the second principal focus, which is obtained on the other side of the lens. This is the case for the convex lens, and for a concave lens, the light ray coming from the object parallel to the principal axis appears to diverge from the first principal focus. Now, the second kind of light ray is the one that passes through the optical center. A light ray passing through the optical center of the lens retraces the path without any deviation. And the third one is the light ray passing through the first principal focus, and that emerges parallel to the principal axis. So, these are the light rays that are used to obtain the image for a particular object. Now, the magnification produced by a lens is given by height of image divided by height of object, or in the terms of image distance and object distance, we can write m is equal to v by u, where v is the image distance and u is the object distance. And we have to keep in mind that for all the formula that we use in lens or mirror, we follow the sign convention. So, on following the sign convention for the magnification, we obtain a conclusion that the magnification for a virtual and erect image is positive, and the magnification for a real and inverted image is negative. Now the power of lens is given by the equation P is equal to 1 by F, and the unit of power is diopter. So based on the sign convention, we can predict that if the power of our lens is positive, then the lens is convex lens, and if the power is negative, then the lens is concave lens. Combination of thin lenses in contact. Now we are going to analyze what happens when we combine two lenses of two focal lengths. Let us consider two lenses A and B whose focal length is f1 and f2 respectively, and we are combining these two lenses to form a single lens. So the light ray from an object undergoes refraction through the first lens, and we obtain an image I1 which acts as a virtual object for the second lens, and after refraction we obtain a final image I which is at a distance v. Let the object distance be u, and the image distance from the first lens, that is the image distance of I1, be v1, and the image distance of the final image I be v. So we know that the thin lens formula is given by 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f. So for the lens A, the image distance is v1, so 1 by v1 minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f1. f1 is the focal length of the first lens. Now for the second lens, the object distance is the image distance of the first lens, that is, as we told, the image formed by the first lens act as a virtual object. Therefore the object distance for the second lens is v1 itself. Thus the thin lens formula obtained here is 1 by v minus 1 by v1 is equal to 1 by f2. Now on adding these two expressions, we obtain a final expression as 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. Now as we told, on combining two lenses we are forming a single lens, and let the effective focal length of our single lens, that is by the combination of the lenses, be f. Then we can apply the thin lens formula, and we can write the expression 1 by v minus 1 by u is equal to 1 by f, where f is the effective focal length of the combination of lenses. Now on comparing the equations, we can obtain the relation 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2. So this is the expression that gives the relation between the effective focal length obtained by the combination of two lenses of focal lengths f1 and f2. And this can be applied for the case of more than two lenses, that is, for any number of lenses when combined together to form a single lens. We can write the expression to obtain the effective focal length as 1 by f is equal to 1 by f1 plus 1 by f2 plus 1 by f3 plus etc. And from which we can write the expression for power, that is the effective power P is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 plus etc. And for the combination of lenses, total magnification is obtained as M is equal to M1 into M2 into M3. So these are the results that we obtained for the combination of lenses.